happy new semester. I hope you all had a great break, and I hope this semester will be a productive one. First thing on my agenda is that I would like to talk briefly about some of the main projects we plan to do this semester. So first thing is the library renovation project. I know we didn't really make much progress last semester for reasons beyond our control, but we've already set a meeting time with the library people next Monday. And we have the report from a survey the GSO did last year. 553 students have responded. We know how the students would like the space to look like. And the library people are supposed to sketch, to draw up a couple of sketches of the space, and hopefully we will be able to see those sketches at the coming meeting next week, and we will keep you posted on that. And next project is the equal pay for equal work project. So the last thing we've heard back from the administration is that they would match up to $500 per student to the department who is willing to, give each student $500. So we asked them to give us something in writing, and Provost Neiman responded with a short paragraph explaining how they intend to carry out this plan. We have already sent it out through the GSO newsletter, and I believe all of you have seen it. So just to clear up just for clarifications, some people were asking about what form the $500 would be. So for the money the department would provide for their students, it could take the form of funds for research, travel to conferences, summer support, or extra pay. So it doesn't necessarily have to be for the salary, and the department doesn't have even to give that kind of money. So that's what we heard. That's the latest news we have from the administration. So Laura Johnson, the business agent of the GSEU, would talk about plans and strategies going forward in her report later in this meeting. And the third major project we are doing this semester would be the election. This year we'll be working with SA to have an election week, in order to get more support from the administration, maybe more funding, and to get more, hopefully more turnout this year. And I believe Ben will talk about it in detail in his report. So next thing on my agenda is that the university is calling for graduate representative to serve on the Council Foundation Award for service to the university committee. So this award are given one each to faculty members, a staff member, an undergraduate student, and a graduate student to those who have served the campus with outstanding dedication. So the student recipients would receive 1,000 check and a certificate for this award. So up to now, this spot is still open, but this is just for serving on that committee to decide who wins or who gets this award or not. But also they are open for nomination too. So it's a call for a representative serving on a committee, and a call for nomination. If you know somebody who you think would definitely deserve this nomination, please write back to me or contact Laura O'Neill, whose contact information. Then just contact me. I will walk you through how to move forward. And also another thing is that I believe you've all heard about it. The university is offering 3 spots on the roadmap reviewing committee for year 2017 to 2018. So I've sent out, I've had a discussion with the main people in the Equal Pay Initiative and also, representatives from the GSEU, and we decided we will give 1 spot to a representative from GSEU and 1 spot to, an board member of GSO and 1 spot to, any graduate students. So we sent out a call, and a lot of students responded, and I would like to thank you if you have. It shows that we all care a lot about the university and about the lives of the graduate students. And unfortunately, we have only 1 spot, and I apologize for those who did not get it. All right, that's pretty much it. Moving on to Ben, Vice President report. Our treasurer. All right.
Yeah, thank you, because this semester I might have to leave like a couple minutes earlier on the Senate meeting, so I'm going like earlier. Thank you, Ben. So I have several announcements here. First is that the treasurer's meeting is already scheduled for this Friday. It'll be in here from 12 to 1. I've already emailed all the treasurers, like both the departmental treasurers and also the SMA group treasurers. So really is to remind all the groups to spend their money. If you have extra money in your account, be generous to those who need more money in their group. And also updating the entire budget situation to them. The second is that I will be needing ratification for 3 new members on the budget committee because 3 members left. So the new members, they are Huang Zhou from economics, Yun Chao Ma and Ming Jun Zhou from school of management. I've already invited them to this week on Monday's budget committee meeting. They've been very dedicating already, so I like to have the 3 new members verified.
Is there anything we would like to discuss about, or do you have any questions before we bring it to a vote? No? All right, so can I get a motion to have those 3 members ratified by you guys?
I move to
Your name and
Tiffany from history.
Stephanie from history. Tiffany from history, sorry. Thank you. Do we have a second?
Gina, philosophy.
Gina from philosophy, thank you. Is there any oppositions? No? Seeing none, the 3 members are ratified by the Senate.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so moving on is the brief overview of the major accounts so far. So first is our travel fund, the GSCTRF fund. So we have 39,000 budgeted for this year. Sadly, the remaining balance for this account is only 6,984.45 now. It's exhausting. So if any of you are planning to apply for that, be fast. Second is our cafe fund. So we have 9,000 budgeted, and so far the remaining balance is 4,991.58. The preschool fund, 6,000 budgeted and not half, 4,500 left. For GSO party, we have 10,000 budgeted, and so far we have 7,277.96 left. Okay, so Sarah is running late for today's meeting. She might be here, she might not, but she asked me to update the SAMA budget for her. So for all the groups so far, for BUPC, the remaining balance is 1,149.1. For Chinese Student Scholar Association, 1,356.90 left. For EVOS, 437.29 left. For GASO, African Student Association, 1,110.27 left. Harper Pallet, 678.75 left. For Indian Graduate Student Organization, 1,010.18 left. For International Student Association, 1,031.64 left. For Iranian Students Association at Binghamton, 1,337.5 left. For Student Labor Alliance, 657.59 left. In addition to that, there will be a new SMA group. It's not fully chartered yet, but it will be there. It's the Arab Student Association, and Sarah told me that she's planning to allocate 200 out from the entire GBPNW account for them. So that's all I have for today.
Thank you, Sam. Now moving on to Vice President's report.
Okay, thank you. So, as you know, we sent out a call for Chief Elections Officer. The E-Board did the interviews, and it was a very competitive pool. But we came into a decision, and your new Chief Elections Officer, we need to ratify that among the Senate, is Marissa Sabbath from CompLit. She's the president. So, can you do a little introduction? Let people know, and then we'll ask the Senate to ratify.
Sure, I'm Marissa Sabbath. I'm currently the president of the comparative literature at GSO. I've also served as senator, so I'm somewhat familiar with your vibe here. I'm excited to be chief elections officer and learn more about the process and hopefully keep it clean and nice and democratic. Please ratify me.
Alright, so do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, what is
Chief Elections Officer is the main individual that controls all the elections with an elections committee. Usually they co-chair with the vice president in this position, but since I'm running for re-election, then that person will be kind of solely controlling that amongst that. So they carry out the voting, the surveying, and all that kind of stuff.
But there are elections committee members who have served on the elections committee before who will help do everything. Because I haven't been on the committee yet, obviously.
Any more discussion? Any more questions? Comments? Alright, so can I get a motion to have Marissa ratified by you guys as the Chief Election Officer?
Economics motions to put it to a vote or whatever to ratify it.
Okay.
Political science seconds.
Political science second. Any objections?
That's Jeremy from Political Science.
Yep.
Okay.
Objections? Seeing none, Marissa has been ratified as the Chief Election Officer.
Okay, thank you. I've also got a request from Stacy Leiter, who I believe is from Political Science.
She is.
Yes, and she wants to join the Elections Committee, so we need to ratify her as well on this committee. So
As usual, discussion, questions, comments?
she would be a member, she wouldn't be the chair.
Stacy is first year in our department. She has much greater life experience than most of the other first years. So our graduate student organization is confident that she would be able to represent the department as well as the GSO on a whole to the best of her abilities, which we have confidence that are significant.
Nice.
Okay, that's a ringing endorsement.
Okay. All right. If there's more questions, I mean, if you guys have no more questions, Can I get a motion to have it ratified? Caroline from Feb. Can I have a second?
I second.
Patrick and Tiffany second. Any objections? Okay, seeing none, the motion has been ratified.
Who was the second?
Tiffany and Patrick.
Okay.
And then the last item here is the call for candidates for the GSOE board. Anand will be sending that out shortly after this meeting here, and that will go out to everyone. The deadline for nominations is February 16th, so you'll send all your materials to Marissa, and then the elections committee will certify everything is good. Everyone that, and basically what we're asking for the nominations, you have to get 25 signatures per the Constitution. So the form will be right on the website and do that. These are 3 paid positions within the GSO. That's the president, vice president, and SCMA. So I urge you guys to apply. That sort of thing. So Anand will be sending that out today. Okay, great. Any questions there?
Okay, thank you, Ben. Moving on to assistant to the president.
All right, I have one thing that I have to add to, asked to add to the agenda, and that concerns elections. So we're gonna have a series of coffee hours this semester. They're going to be on Tuesdays from 12 to 1. We had to change it from Monday to Tuesday because that was more convenient for the e-board as a whole. And so we figured, since we're from all different departments, that perhaps that was better for everyone. And so we're gonna have a series of coffee hours. The first one's gonna be next Tuesday. Feel free to put these up in your departments and get people to come to these. They're very informal social events. We provide you food, drinks, and sometimes we'll be inviting various departmental, or not departmental, but campus offices such as the counseling center to come and speak with us briefly about what it is they do and the services that they offer for graduate students. Related to these coffee hours, of course, we're going to have the elections. This year at the elections, we're going to vote to whether we want to fund the GSO, right? Do you like your cafe funds? Is it nice to have conferences? Do you like getting reimbursed to go to conferences, right? The GSO has the largest budget for reimbursing your conference travel, right? And the question that you're asked is put to you by SUNY Central, and they ask you, do you want to make the student activity fee mandatory or voluntary? And of course, the answer is not voluntary. We want it to be mandatory because there's no real way to make it voluntary. At least we've not ever had a successful execution of that project, right? So basically, when it says mandatory, it's asking whether you want the GSO to exist. Voluntary is, of course, choosing to dissolve the GSO. What ends up happening is we have $200,000 in our reserve, and that basically cuts down all of the GSO activities to basically zero, and the only people that are paid out of that budget are the e-board members who are going to be paid because it's in the Constitution that they are paid. And we don't want that to happen because it's better to offer you guys services than to pay ourselves, right? And that's that. So come to the coffee hour on Tuesday, right? And then the last, what's that?
Where is it?
The coffee hour is going to be here in the GSO lounge. All of the coffee hours that are scheduled will be here in the GSO lounge. We might have some other coffee hours, such as the Meet the Candidates coffee hour, and we might have coffee hours surrounding the employment and labor issue, right? And then the final thing I have is I tried to have a Treasury Oversight Committee meeting. Only one of the 4 people that signed up actually showed up. And then that person decided to join the Budget Committee this semester. So I need 3 new people to join the Treasury Oversight Committee. If you would like to join the Treasury Oversight Committee, please come talk to me after this meeting. Otherwise, we can't have our required once a semester meetings. And that is all that I have.
Thank you, Sam. Now let's move on to Laura Johnson, business agent of the GSEU. I believe she has several reports for you guys.
Okay, so the first thing I just want to go back to is the matchup plan that Cheng discussed earlier. Some people might think that this was a negotiation between us and the university. That was not the case. We had a meeting with Stanger, Neiman, and Strahl. It took quite a while for them to even admit that they had created this matchup plan. They were not forthcoming with it right away. It doesn't solve the problem for equal pay for equal work. So in the social sciences, it does kind of alleviate that disparity of the stipend increase, but for STEM fields and natural sciences, it clearly does not. This potential $1,000 does not offset the $6,000 stipend increase that is experienced in those departments. As Sheng had said, there's no stipulation as to how the department is going to use those funds other than giving it to current students, but they can give it to you in any kind of form. We've already gotten some reports that departments are going to have to cut their internal conference funding by a little bit and cut some other services. This is something that was not acknowledged by the administration when we spoke to them. What else? The plan was also, again, created without graduate student input. So last semester they had that big meeting on Friday with, on a Friday with all of the chairs of the departments. They basically presented the plan. There was not a lot of input from faculty, and the only graduate student representation was allowed in the room for 5 minutes. So this is another plan that was created by the administration that didn't really consider what our needs are. So we do not consider this the beginnings of negotiations. We do not consider this a result of our efforts. We still need to keep fighting in order to make any kind of headway. So that leads into the email that I had sent out on Monday. So I apologize if you're a GA or TA in this semester, you haven't gotten an updated email list from HR. So if you haven't received it yet, I can send it out again once I get that new list. But basically the email was encouraging everyone to call into Neiman's office and Stenger's office to basically force them to reopen these negotiations. At the meeting where they discussed the matchup plan, they basically told us that they are done talking to us, and now we have to go to our departments and complain to get more money. And as I just stated, some departments can't afford to do this, or they're cutting other services to do this, so again, this is not a helpful tactic. Does anyone have any questions about that, or move on to something else? Okay. So there will be a GSEU meeting sometime next week. We'll be knowing that again when that occurs, and I'll also forward it to the GSO so they can put it out in the newsletter. And then the two other issues that I wanted to bring to your attention is a revised pet policy that the administration is considering to do. Our campus is a very pet-friendly campus. There is no formal policy about having pets in the buildings except the dorms and some of the laboratory buildings. They're considering banning pets from all buildings. So you can, I know. You can walk your dog on campus, or they're thinking that they'll allow people to walk their dog on campus. Nothing has been set in stone. They're still getting feedback. So this is why it's important to talk about these issues with you guys. So some of the other SUNY schools don't allow dogs on campus at all, so you can't even walk them outside. And I guess we're one of the few, or the only one that has a pet-friendly policy on campus. So the GSO is going to write a letter to Joanne Navarro, who's kind of organizing this effort to see what the feedback is from the faculty and from the students. The GSEU is going to write a separate letter, so we have 2 letters going to her from the students' perspective. If you have any input of your own that you want included in these letters, please email me or email the e-board. And we need to get those to her by February 12th, so please send that as soon as possible if you have a very specific thing you want to have us say in those emails.
Is there a rationale given for why they are considering making this change?
The reason, I guess there have been complaints throughout the years about people with allergies complaining, but the big incident that seems to have really pushed for this is a police officer was bitten twice by a dog of a faculty member while the police officer was trying to help that faculty member with something. So far, they've been fortunate enough not to have any other reports. I guess this is the only thing that has actually happened. But it's enough to get them wanting to start a new policy on it. Any other questions about the pet issue?
So then cops won't be allowed to bring their dogs either?
That I don't believe so. So service animals, I'm not sure about the cops, but service animals, of course, would be allowed to use on campus. I don't think cops count as service animals, but I don't foresee them being one.
It just seems causally inappropriate.
Well, if that's something you want to bring up in our letter, you just.
Canines aren't under any restrictions.
Oh.
They're
Okay.
pretty much over.
Okay, well then that's not included in this new policy. The third thing that I want to talk about is that Binghamton is looking to make themselves tobacco free. So across SUNY, there is pending legislation to make all SUNY campuses tobacco free. It hasn't been passed yet, but Binghamton kind of wants to not jump the gun, but a lot of the SUNY campuses are moving in that direction. So what that would mean, likely is, well, there wouldn't be any smoking on the campus. As to how much that includes, like can you be smoking in your car or in the parking lot or something, I'm not sure yet. They're still figuring out all of those policies. They just had the first meeting on Monday. So there's nothing has been set in place yet. They're just talking about it, gathering information. So right now I'm on the committee for the education effort to, I guess, get people to stop smoking. And then there's another subcommittee that's focused on policy. I'm going to see if I can get on that committee as well, since it's going to affect the policy of employees and students. One of the things about this issue is that enforcement of it has been challenging in all of the other institutions that have adopted a tobacco-free campus. It seems like they're going to have trouble enforcing it based on what these other campuses have done. And we'll see how effective this is going to be moving forward. But this literally just started on Monday, even though I guess they had been talking about it for a while. They've just been able to start moving forward on it. So I will keep you updated as more information comes available. But I just want to make you aware that we are moving towards this smoke-free campus. So if you have any input about that, please email me so I can bring it up at some of these next meetings. Any questions about the tobacco-free initiative?
Tobacco-free or smoke?
Sorry, it's tobacco-free. Yeah, so any type of tobacco, so that would include cigarettes, chew, and e-cigarettes as well. But nothing has been set in stone. It's not like a policy is going to happen tomorrow. They're just trying to figure out how they're going to implement this program.
And also, just to add to that, they are open for input from the graduate students too, and on the tobacco policy. And we have an e-board member, Sarah Markers, serving on that committee. So if you would like to share your opinions or have your input, feel free to email her or me. We will make sure that your voices are heard. All right. Anything else?
I think that's everything.
All right.
Is there anything else you need me to cover?
Would you like to talk a little bit more about like GSU's standing on the equal pay?
Okay. So of course we are still fighting for equal pay. At the meeting that we're going to have next week, we'll go more in depth about those specific strategies. I don't want to reveal everything here because we're still trying to finalize our escalation strategy. And once that's finalized, then we'll present it to everyone. We can talk about it there. But we're still writing articles. We're still gathering information for budgeting to get advertisements in newspapers and that kind of thing. So the stuff that we've been talking about last semester, we're actually going to be able to get done.
Nice.
Any other questions about that?
Is there a timeline for these things to get done?
Yeah, so we're going to, on next week, we'll go through all of that in detail, but we want to have a certain amount of events happen by midterms and see where we're at and we'll assess. And if those lesser plans do not work out, we're gonna keep upping the ante and see where we are by the end of the semester. So it's not a specific, we have a more detailed timeline, but I wanna hold off until we have the big GSE meeting.
When is that meeting gonna be held?
We don't know yet, cause we cannot book the room until next week.
Any more questions? Questions, comments, discussion? No? Well, if there are no more questions, it looks like we are having a very short meeting this time. Any?
Can I ask 2 questions real quick?
Yes, please.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Sarah Gross. I'm your VU Council representative, so I come to these meetings and just hang out. I have two things recently came up. Pipe Dream wrote about both of them, and I just wanted to see if anybody had feedback on them. One is there was an attack on 3 students downtown, and so there's been some talk about how students want administrators to react to that kind of thing, including sending out more communications about events like that, or implementing some sort of safe ride program downtown, or just 2 of the things I've heard about. So I just wanted to know how anybody felt about either of those ideas, or if anybody had any feedback they wanted to give.
Yeah, actually, well, the girl, like, I kind of know her. She was, like, right next to my house, so I was kind of freaked out. And I was wondering, actually, if we could do something, because now I'm scared to walk back from the bus to my house. It's, like, exactly what happened, so I doubt it's going to happen again, I hope not. But, like, yeah, if there could be something, like, when it's dark, like, someone, like, walking with you, because I'm alone, like, I don't really have anyone that could walk with me all the time, so, like, not during the day where I feel safe, but like at night when it starts really creepy. Like there's nothing, there is no store, there is no bar. Like it's not like someone could see you if that happened. It's just really dark and really.
I don't know for sure, but I think there is a policy where if you're at the UDC, which might be where your bus drops you off, one of the police officers in there will walk you home.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but I've heard about that. But if that's not a thing, then I've never.
Yeah. Well, like maybe let people know, cause like I'm sure other. I don't know about you guys, but like girls, I know that we tend to be more scared because like we're the praise. So at least know what we have. Like if there is a shuttle or those like if police officer would walk you, like what are our options if we already have some, and maybe figure out others if we don't have any. Like that would be great. Maybe the blue bus line should have us like a safety route whereby after a certain time or whatever, they make more frequent stops between blocks. And we know that it's a slower routed bus, but if you're feeling particularly paranoid or something, or a little drunk or whatever, you can take that bus. We had that at my last university, and it was pretty effective. We also had something where whenever any crime was reported on campus or to a student, it was sent to us via B-Alert or whatever within the hour of the university knowing. So you would know, I don't know if that really helps people, knowing that someone just got mugged 3 blocks away an hour ago, but it certainly tells you to be alert, you know, that night or something.
And as far as alerts like that, are text the best option, or is that going to become, I don't know if you had some experience, would it become an inundation thing where there was too much information on text? Would it be better on email?
On text you at least see to ignore. An email, I just let them pile up. I think the texts are effective. When I get a B alert, I look at it just in case there's a power outage or class is magically canceled or something. I don't know about you guys, but no matter how many B alerts I get to my phone, I always look at them.
Do you guys feel that as well, that if you got a bunch more B alerts, it wouldn't like desensitize you at all to information? Alright, any other comments on that one? Okay, and if anybody thinks of anything after, my name is Sarah Glows, SARAHGLOSC, type my name into the email, my email pop up. The second thing is that the university just announced changes to the University Counseling Center. They're offering services. They're no longer going to be doing long-term individual counseling one-on-one. They're going to be focusing more on their group counseling efforts, and they're also going to be focusing more on getting more students in for evaluation so that they can redirect them to appropriate services on campus or off campus. I know there's been some negative feedback, I shouldn't make comments on things, but I do anyway. There's been some negative feedback on it, and I just wanted to know if anybody had any thoughts on that matter. Just something to be aware of. You can read the pipe dream article. It has some information from the university. I don't know if there's going to be anything official that comes out. That might have been their official way of announcing it, but.
Could you keep us informed if there is an official change in the policy?
Yeah, well, there is an official change. I just don't know how they're rolling out the information. Yeah, it's basically that they have too many people who need counseling services and not enough ability to provide it. And SUNY caps, so the state caps are health fee that we're allowed to charge, and so we've reached our max, so we can't charge any more for our health fees. So they're kind of stuck in a budgetary sense. So they're trying to just do less individual counseling and more short-term evaluations and helping people address problems that are kind of immediate as opposed to this long-term care. And instead, they're going to try to redirect long-term care to either off-campus providers or I know the psychological clinic or something like Clearview. They also do on-campus counseling.
For the increased recommendation capabilities, if you mentioned that, I know people in my department have had to provide information for students who, this has happened in the spring before where they've just run out of money, they can't recommend anything. Do you have any documentation that you can send to the GSO Senate that we can circulate that would give a description? Because
yeah,
I know that we experience questions about that same thing.
You would just want like a flyer or an email from the council what is happening? Yeah, I can certainly email around and try to find that.
Great, thank you.
Anything else?
I have a question. So you said there's not going to be any more individual counseling and only group counseling. And I know in the past there's been issues with grad students and undergrad students both being seen together in the University Counseling Center. So how is the university addressing this? Are there strictly grad student group counseling groups, or?
I don't know for sure. I know in the past they have done at the very least dissertation counseling groups for just graduate students. For other issues, I don't know. I can certainly look into it for you. Well, thank you guys so much. If you guys ever need anything, just let me know.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Please.
I have two questions or pieces of new business. The first is a really simple one. I know that at the beginning of semesters, or at least the first semester, there's the available committee positions, because I know that new senators. Okay, just for information's sake, because I know I'm not the only one who will need to sign up for committee spots. The second question is, my department intends to be filing a grievance. Under the bylaws, we looked through the bylaws. Thank you very much, Vice President, for your help. We looked through the bylaws and it says that we need to fill out a grievance form. We cannot find a grievance form on the website. So would you guys be able to put that together for us?
Yeah, I'm sure we have a paper copy on hand in the GSO office.
Somewhere, yeah, obviously.
But, yeah, that should be available for.
Thank you. And that will, obviously, there's the time limit thing. We just want to be able to turn paperwork in as expediently as possible. So we would really appreciate being able to have access to that ASAP. Because there's a 6-week thing, but we don't want to cause any trouble by going over it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Any questions? Or is there anything you would like to share with other senators here that you think they might want to know? No? All right. So it looks like motion to have this meeting adjourned.
I'll make that motion.
Caroline from Red.
Second.
Second, political science, right? Jeremy from political science. Any objections? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.